After months of global grain shortage, negotiators in Turkey say that they have reached a deal to resume grain exports from Ukraine. After hours of negotiation in Istanbul, Turkey's defense minister announced Ukraine and Russia had agreed to allow grain shipments through the Black Sea. Turkey and the United Nations helped broker that deal, expected to be signed next week. The deal would end a months-long impasse that has left more than 20 million tons of much-needed grain stuck in Ukrainian ports, unable to leave because of fighting in the country. Now, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says that more work was still needed to finalize the deal, but hailed the breakthrough as a critical step forward.
A ray of hope to ease human suffering and alleviate hunger around the world. A ray of hope to support developing countries and the most vulnerable people. A ray of hope to bring a measure of much-needed stability to the global food system.
These bronze cannons confirmed the Holy Grail of shipwrecks had been found at the bottom of the Caribbean Sea. They're engraved with dolphins, a telltale sign they belong to the Spanish galleon San Jose, lost more than 300 years ago. But it was discovered in November 2015 off the coast of Cartagena, Colombia. Its cargo of gold, silver, and emeralds could be worth as much as $17 billion today. The Remus 6000, operated by the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute in Massachusetts, found the ship almost 2,000 feet below the surface. The underwater robot scanned the seafloor using long-range sonar, then went back and took pictures of any objects that seemed out of the ordinary. The Remus used the same methods to find Air France Flight 447, which crashed off the coast of Brazil in 2009. British warships sunk the San Jose and its crew of 600 in 1701. Its final moments immortalized by the painter Samuel Scott. For now, all of its treasure remains underwater. Working with the Colombian government, the Woods Hole team also found artifacts like teacups and ceramic jugs.
Winners of the 68th National Film Awards were announced in New Delhi. The Best Actor award is being shared by Surya and Ajay Devgan for their work in Surarai Potru and Unsung Warrior. This is Surya's first national award, Ajay Devgan's third.
उसी तरह हर एक मराठा में छुपा है लाख मराठा
The Asian elephants left a natural reserve almost a year and a half ago, and no one knows why. But since then, they've traveled an incredible 500 kilometers. Like a gang from West Side Story, they've claimed the streets as their own and the crops as theirs to eat. And despite relaxing in some lavish mud baths, they've still gotten on each other's nerves at times.
We can grow crops next year if they're eaten, but we'll never have the elephants again if they die.
More than 25,000 officers have been tracing the wild Asian elephants, which are an endangered species, with only 300 of them left in China. Residents were evacuated. Drones were deployed to follow their every move. Obstructions were placed and bait carefully positioned to make sure they followed the right path.
We saw a few patients that were blind yesterday and now they are seeing today. I have personally done surgeries on more than 130,000 patients. Cataract as a disease can cloud your vision for life. Surgery is the only treatment for cataract. So I travel to remote villages all over my country. Since I know from my own experience, people who are marginalized both because of economy and geography, they are the ones who suffer a lot. I've seen thousands, but each patient's story touches my heart. And it is the expression of these patients who have been blind yesterday and suddenly they come out and see everything in front of them, see people they loved, and they change the perspective to life in a fraction of a second. We have trained nearly 650 doctors. I believe that we can do this all over the world.
My patients are my life and soul.
Asiatic cheetahs were declared extinct in India 70 years ago after the last 3 cheetahs living in the country were killed in 1947. And now, in an effort to introduce African cheetahs to India, on Wednesday, the Indian government signed a memorandum of understanding with Namibia to bring back the cheetahs to India. 8 African cheetahs will be translocated from Namibia to Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh. This is the first time that a transcontinental shifting of a large carnivore will be taking place.
The cheetah, also the fastest land animal, is the only large carnivore believed to have gone extinct in India. In the year 2020, the Supreme Court of India announced that African cheetahs could be introduced in a carefully chosen location on an experimental basis.
Kamikatsu, as a town, produces almost no trash. Kamikatsu has a population of roughly 1,500 people, and in the 1990s was doing nearly no recycling. Burning all that garbage created carbon dioxide emissions that became dangerous, and the nature around them was suffering, so a decision was made. Kamikatsu had to change. This was the start of their path towards zero waste, and a new way of living. Effectively, what zero waste here means is that there's no such thing as throwing something in the trash. Everything has to get recycled. And in the beginning, it was difficult for everyone. There are 45 categories of recyclables.
アルミ缶、スチール缶、スプレー缶、金属製のキャップ、布、木製品、蛍光缶。
The list, it goes on. There's 35 more.
Can we make the organ better than the way we found it? Can we actually improve it? What we have done is built a system where we actually transport donor lungs to the repair center, repair them on ex vivo perfusion, and then transport them to the transplant center. We get an offer for a donor in the middle of the night, and then multiple organs need to be placed to try and book planes to coordinate all of these different transplants. So you can imagine that being a lot simplified if you just have drones and program them to deliver the organ.
The organ is put in a liquid solution, which serves as sort of a shock absorber. On top of that, we added a custom-made case made out of carbon fiber material, which has been designed to minimize any vibration loads associated with the drone transport. We are developing drones that can fly up to very close to 400 kilometers. We hope that would allow organs to be flown across large distances anywhere in the world.
World leaders have made a multi-billion-dollar pledge to end deforestation by the end of the decade. The pledge by more than 100 global leaders is supported by $19 billion in public and private funds. The joint statement is backed by the leaders of 100 countries, including Brazil, Indonesia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Collectively, 100 countries account for 85% of the world's forests. The leaders include those of forest-rich Brazil and Russia. Both have been condemned by activists for accelerating their own rates of deforestation. Billions of dollars will be used to halt and reverse deforestation and land degradation by the year 2030. Investors also pledged to stop investing in activities linked to deforestation by 2025. The Glasgow Leaders' Declaration will cover forests totaling more than 13 million square miles. The pledge also holds promises to secure the rights of the indigenous people and recognize their role as forest guardians.
India's Neeraj Chopra has become the first Indian to win an athletics world championship medal since 2003. The Olympic champion takes silver in the men's javelin behind defending champion Anderson Peters. Neeraj Chopra said that it was extremely important to be on the podium once again.
He'd love to get himself back on the World Championship podium here, and he's giving himself a great chance as we approach the halfway stage. 85 metres in the first round, 87 metres in the second round, and 88 in the third.